come together in the name of love. I had a little technical difficulty here. I think my batteries are working now. Yay, there we are. Glad to have you with us this morning, whether you are joining us here in our sanctuary in person or whether you are joining us online. We are so glad to have you with us. And I just want to say a special welcome to one of our new members who joined us a couple of months ago, who's visiting now Denver from Texas, Sandy Haney. Sandy, stand up and wave to everybody. Sandy decided to join our community because she loves this community, and even though she lives in Texas, she can tune in online. So we're so pleased to have Sandy as a member here. I know that, I'm a little bit out of it here, so let me just pull up my what I'm doing. I was racing around trying to get new batteries for my pack, and I didn't prepare. All right, so here we are. If you're here for the first time, welcome, especially welcome to you. If you found us for the first time online, we appreciate you doing that and tuning in this morning or whenever you might be tuning in to this service today. If you are new to us and you would like to sign up for our newsletter, which goes out every Friday morning, we invite you to go to our website, which is unitydenver.org. Go all the way down to the bottom of the homepage and sign up for the newsletter by clicking that little orange button down there. If you're watching us, appreciate that. We invite you to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell there so that you are notified when we go live. Same thing with Facebook. If you're watching us on Facebook, please like our page and you'll be notified, I think, when we go live on Facebook as well. We do have an app, and if you'd like to download that app, you can send a text to, and this has changed recently, send the text Unity Denver, all one word, space app, all lowercase, to 833-815-9486. You'll get a text and it gives you a link to download the app. And on that app, once you download it, you can register for classes, you can make donations, you can watch past services, and just keep up with everything that's going on here. And if none of that really works for you, just send us an email or call us on the phone. Send an email to info@unitydenver.org or call us at 303-758-5664. And we'll get back to you just as soon as we possibly can. So I do have a few announcements I want to share. I feel like I'm talking really fast, am I? All right. Let me just breathe for a minute. Have a few announcements that I'd like to share with you, things that we invite you to participate in. Natalie Simons, our Youth and Family Ministry Director, presents an online children's lesson every week. They are pre-recorded and uploaded to broadcast at 11:15. So if you happen to be at home and you have children at home, and even if you don't have children at home, tune into that. I encourage you to do that because they are fabulous lessons for all ages. Natalie does a beautiful job of that. And just to acknowledge Natalie, I've heard from other churches and spiritual centers who are using Natalie's videos in their children's education program and sending us tithes for that. So I just want to acknowledge what a great job she's doing. Yeah, thank you, Natalie. Next week, we are going to be doing a fellowship again after service. We're going to be providing some sandwiches and salad and some things, and we're going to set up some tents outside for those who are more comfortable being outside. And we'll have also the availability for you to be inside if you'd like. But we think it's important for us as we come back together. What letters mean? What is that about? How do we understand some of those things? And she is going to be presenting a workshop for us. And if you'd like to stick around, have some fellowship next Sunday, we're going to be broadcasting that here in our sanctuary. So if you'd like to participate in it here, you can also do it through Zoom at home as well. Let's see, what is next? Our annual meeting is coming up on July 11th. We encourage you, if you are a voting member of this community, this church, this spiritual center, to be here in person for that. We do need to have a quorum of members in order to make that meeting happen. So we highly encourage you to be a part of that and come if you possibly can. The women's I keep going back to that. The Feminine Identity and Energy Retreat is coming up in September over Labor Day weekend, which is September 3rd through the 5th. It's going to be at Sunrise Ranch outside of Loveland. It's a beautiful facility. I've been there for retreats a couple of times. They have wonderful food, and the accommodations are really nice. And Reverend Cynthia James is going to be the facilitator for that. And we encourage you to, if you are a female, if you identify as female, if you present as female, they want that to be an inclusive retreat for all. So if you'd like to register for that, please do that. Go to our website. There's a button you can click on there, and you can register there. And if you register before the end of June, it's a $50 discount. Is that all I'm supposed to announce about that today? Okay. I want to be sure I covered everything about that, so I encourage you to participate in that. I know I've participated with Cynthia James once in a workshop, and she's a wonderful facilitator and great energy. I also just want to say a quick thank you to Mary Hugh Winkle and Mary Hilberg, who came out yesterday to help with the cleanup of the garden area. Thank you for that and all the work that you put into that. I know that Mary Hugh was trimming the rose bushes, so I'm sure she can show you all her battle scars from the thorns on the rose bushes. So thank you for that, and thank you to Jill Kukowski and Ken Reinhardt, who cleaned out our storage closet here. So thank you for your efforts and your time in doing that. Today also happens to be Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all of you fathers out there, and all of you fathers, whether you are a natural father, adoptive father, whether you're a father figure in someone else's life. We appreciate your energy in being a father, and we do appreciate you. And so, in honor of Father's Day, I thought in order to add a little lightness to today, I would share with you some dad jokes. What's Forrest Gump's Facebook password? One, Forrest, one. I told you it was a dad joke. What time did the man go to the dentist? 2:30. You have to kind of think about that one. Why didn't the melons get married? Because they can cantaloupe. They cantaloupe. All right. What did the fisherman say to the magician? Pick a cod, any cod. I know, these are really pretty bad, aren't they? Did you know that milk is the fastest liquid on earth? It's pasteurized before you even see it. Ha ha. What did the ocean say to the other ocean? Nothing, they just waved. All right, just one more. Why are spiders so smart? They can find everything on the web. All right. Thank you, dads, for crazy dad jokes. All right, so let's take a breath. So we want to drop into the sacredness of this space. I'm going to do that by using this crystal bowl. And so I just invite you to close your eyes as you hear this sound, and invite the sound to just resonate throughout your being. Especially as you listen to the sound, I invite you to breathe deeply into your heart. Just allowing yourself to open to your own experience in this moment. So as you settle into your heart space, that space within your own consciousness, that place of centeredness, I invite you to recognize love, the vibration of love, the energy of love that is right there in this place. The place that is the very essence of who and what you are, as an expression of divine love. You are created in and as that divine, unconditional love. And as you breathe into that place, just imagine that heart space opening to the feeling, the expression of love. Allow that love to just flood your entire being. Every cell of your body just being awakened to the energy of love. Remembering that love is the source. As you open and allow. And as we come together in this energy of divine love, we create this resonant field of love. So I invite you to see each one in this space today, in this physical space, and in this virtual space, surrounded in that energy of love, embraced in love. And into that energy of love, we bring those who are on our hearts and minds, individuals, situations, groups, people who might be experiencing some challenge in their lives. We know that in the human experience, we do experience challenge. So bring to mind, bring to heart anyone in your own awareness as we come together. And together we lift them all into this energy of love, knowing that love is an intelligent energy that knows exactly what is needed in each life. And so we allow love to do its perfect work in and through each one. And we release them to that experience as they are willing and ready to receive it. And we are grateful. And so it is. Amen. So earlier this week, I was participating in the online Unity People's Convention, which last year was not held because of COVID, and this year was held electronically, virtually. And I was touched by something was shared during the convention, and it was a resolution that the Unity Worldwide Ministries Board. Unity Worldwide Ministries, if you're not familiar, is an organization that supports ministries in the field, ordains ministers and licensed teachers, and supports ministries. And their board came up with a resolution in honor of Juneteenth. And just as a acknowledgement of Juneteenth was yesterday, and as we know, Juneteenth is recognized as the day when the enslaved people in America were freed. It's actually the day when the enslaved people in Texas became aware of the Emancipation Proclamation. Actually, it was 3 years, I think, after it was actually signed. And I celebrate that our country finally recognized that and has declared that a national holiday. Also, I recognize and celebrate that our country has finally recognized the atrocity that occurred 100 years ago in Greenwood, in Tulsa, that we recognize that and how people of color have been persecuted and killed and deprived of their rights. So today I wanted to share with you, because I think it's important for us as part of Unity Worldwide Ministries to hear what Unity says about this. So I wanted to share it with you today. It's called an official statement from Unity Worldwide Ministries. Unity Worldwide Ministries stands for anti-racism, i.e., we are opposed to racial hatred, racial violence, bias, systemic racism, and the oppression of people of color. We stand for diversity, equity, and inclusion for people who are marginalized because of color. No individual or group should be made to live in fear or excluded from society. Recent events in the United States and the world remind us that violent repression, prejudices, injustices, and inequality towards people of color are embedded in societies, from social structures to institutions to cultures. Unity chooses to be more aware and take positive action in dismantling systemic racism and the social structures that support injustice and prejudice, and we raise awareness throughout our membership churches and centers. Whereas Unity stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion for people of color, our second principle states human beings have a spark of divinity within them, the Christ Spirit within. The very essence is of God, and therefore they are also inherently good. This principle applies to all people, regardless of color. And whereas we are fully committed to Unity Worldwide Ministries being an ambassador for diversity, equity, and inclusion in our world, and an example through our actions in the Unity movement, and whereas Unity Worldwide Ministries Board of Trustees acknowledges that there has been and is systemic racism in Unity, we acknowledge and accept responsibility for the impact that our history with racism has made upon our black and brown friends, colleagues, congregants, students, employees, and patrons, both past and present. We commit to eradicating any and all systems, policies, and practices that would in any way replicate our past mistakes or reproduce an environment that discriminates against or is inhospitable toward people on the basis of race, color, or ethnicity. Now, therefore, be it resolved that based on Unity's fifth principle of taking action, which states knowing and understanding the laws of life, also called truth, is not enough. A person must live that truth that he or she knows. We commit to the following actions: to reflect on an ongoing basis diversity, equity, and inclusion in our Worldwide Ministries Board of Trustees. To commit to reinforcing our policy of non-discrimination by adopting and instituting best practices for ensuring that all qualified applicants and candidates are given full consideration for any and all positions without respect to race, ethnicity, culture, or color. To ongoing robust mandatory staff leadership development and education committed to building a culturally competent, anti-racist community of leaders and allies. Our bold initiative will address trainings on implicit bias, cultural competence, white fragility, and becoming an anti-racist, along with ongoing training and education that positions Unity Worldwide Ministries to be on the leading edge of building consciously awake thought leaders committed to dismantling systemic racism and building the beloved community. To develop and disseminate principle-centered educational programs and curricula for use in our centers, spiritual communities, study groups, and churches that equip Unity ministers, spiritual leaders, teachers, and laity with the information, inspiration, and resources necessary to detect and dissolve systemic racism within themselves and build healthy, diverse, equitable, and inclusive communities. These materials will take many forms, including a wide offering of online webinars, to allocate monetary resources to the fourth quarter of fiscal 2021, to continue the work that the UMW board has done in the past 12-week class on racial diversity and the continued recognition of an inherent culture of white privilege, with a racial equity consultant to assist us in developing a more organization-wide permanent response to the issues and needs for increased diversity, equity, and inclusion. And be it further resolved, we are committed to moving beyond neutrality and to full acknowledging all lives without regard to color matter. We are responsible for choosing our role going forward. We commit to stop colluding in racism. So I appreciate that. I appreciate it was a long reading, and I appreciate you being patient hearing it, and I celebrate that Unity is taking that stand and taking actions to help us as a movement become more inclusive, more diverse, more equitable in our practices, not only in our speech, but in our practices as well. So I support that, and I thank you for listening.
There's a place that we're made for, just beyond what we have known, in a realm still yet unseen, still yet unseen. There's a place where all is right, no more darkness, only light. The things of earth grow strangely dim, grow strangely dim. On the earth as it is in heaven, oh let it be here
Can I hear an amen? My Baptist roots are showing there. Thank you, Lauren. Lauren Sheely, everybody. I forgot to introduce Lauren earlier today. So thank you, Lauren, for being here. Such a beautiful song. I had not heard that song until earlier this week, and I was just touched by it and the vision that I've said it many times, that I do believe that that is why we're here, to bring that kingdom of love and light, of peace and equality to the earth. And when we think about the kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven, that's what I envision, where we are all one. We know that we're one. And I believe that's what Jesus would have said as well. You know, I've heard it said that, I think Jim has reminded me too, sometimes when we say the word kingdom, we take the G out and it's more kingdom, that we are the kingdom of God, and how we can bring that into manifestation right here upon the earth. So I love that, and thank you for that, Lauren. Today I felt guided to look at this book. One of my favorite books. You may have heard me mention it before. I know I've written about it. It's Wayne Muller's book, How Then Shall We Live? And he offers us 4 questions. In the introduction, just quickly, he says, many spiritual traditions and practices begin with a single question, who am I? That's not what I wanted to read. That's okay. It must have been important. I don't know. He says, 4 simple questions have shaped the spiritual journeys of pilgrims and seekers for thousands of years. They call forth the very nature of who we are and how we live our brief time on earth. And those 4 questions that he offers us in the book are, who am I? What do I love? How will I live knowing that I will die? And what is my gift to the family of the earth? 4 questions that he offers us an opportunity to contemplate. And I know I won't do justice to this book in one talk, so I encourage you to read it. But I think for many of us, when we ask that question, who am I? Many things can come up for us. Many of us, I believe, who have been in a spiritual tradition, unity, or other New Thought traditions, certainly might even say, I am a child of God. I am an expression of pure spirit. Our master teacher Jesus said, you're the light of the world. I believe he meant that, right? You are the light of the world. Did I not say that you are all, does your scripture not say that you are all God's expressions of that and its wholeness and its beauty and its perfection? I believe many of us would say, if we're really in touch with that, who am I? But the question, asks us to go deeper than that. Deeper than that, I think. I remember, we've probably all heard this saying that Pierre Teilhard de Chardin said that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. And I believe that in unity especially, we know that we're spirit. At the very essence of us, at the very truth of us, the foundation of us, we are spirit. In unity, we call that expression the Christ. That we are the expression in our wholeness, our truth, the Christ, the light, the pure light of God expressing. That's the unchanging part of us. But we also live in these human bodies, in this human experience. So who are we in this human experience? Who am I? I want to say that I'm not my history. I'm not my my conditioning. I'm not my traumas. I'm not that. That's not who I am. Yet if we're honest, we have to know that those things help to shape us. Those experiences from our past, the traumas, and I believe that all of us have experienced some trauma in our lives. I think sometimes we normalize way too many things and don't really own and honor that some experiences in our lives are traumatic. I heard a very simple definition of trauma earlier that said a trauma is anything that you find that you can't escape from. Any situation or condition that you find you can't escape from. And I would say that all of us have experienced trauma this past year and a half because we haven't been able to escape from this thing called COVID. We've all experienced some trauma. But that's not the point of today's talk. I don't even know why that came up. But just to say that those things shape us. And they create a lens through which we see ourselves and the world. And so it's important for us to recognize when we say, who am I? Well, no, I'm not that. But that's a part of what makes me me. And it's important for us to face those things and heal those things and be honest about those things and work through those things. Because when we do that, then we can really recover who we truly are. Reawaken to who we truly are. But who am I? My belief is that not consciously, but at some level in our greater consciousness, we all chose to come into this life experience. At some greater level of consciousness, I chose to come in to this body, into my family, into my culture, into whatever I'm experiencing at some level, for whatever reason, for learning, for growth, for expansion. I chose that at some level. And it's important. You know, for a long time, I wanted to just deny that. I wanted to just, I'm the spiritual being. And I just want to be this spiritual being. I just want to deny my humanness. I don't want to deal with that crap that comes along with being human. I just want to transcend that. Anybody else ever been there? But I am living in this human experience just like you are. And who we are in this human experience matters. It matters. I know I'm not my gender. I'm not my skin color. I'm not my religion. I'm not my sexual orientation. I'm not my nationality. I'm not any of those things. However, all of that comes together in who I present as. And it matters. It matters. If I come into this world and I present as, and I'll just be honest with you, I have a little trepidation about what I want to say today. Because I'm not saying it to trigger anybody. I'm not saying it to bring up any guilt. I'm not saying it to make anybody feel shamed or anything. But I'm saying it because it's important to be said that if I am in this body as a male of European or Scandinavian descent, if I'm in this male body of European or a Scandinavian descent and I'm a Christian, if I'm in this male body from European or Scandinavian descent and I'm a Christian and I'm a straight cis male boy, am I the one who has the most authority and power in this society? I am. I'm not saying it to trigger you or to create any feeling about that, but it's true. It's the way this culture has been created, people. It's just the way it is. And it matters if I am that one, because I am the one who showed up as that for a reason. And in that situation, I have the power. I have the power to change things, to speak to things, to stand up for things. I have the power to be heard in this culture. It matters who I am. Again, we have made great strides in this country. I'm not discounting that. We have made great strides in this country. And we have a long way to go toward equality for all people. So if we, and anything that doesn't go along with those identities decreases your power in this culture. Anything. If you're a woman, if you're not of European or Scandinavian descent, if you're not a Christian, if you're not heterosexual, and our opportunity is to claim who we are and to choose, I believe, to be allies for those people who don't fit into those categories. They need us. They need us. And I know this is uncomfortable. I know it is an uncomfortable reality for us, for many of us. I get it. I get it. And if you don't agree with me, I understand that. I understand that there's so much about our history that we don't want to own. I never had heard until recently about the atrocity of Greenwood that happened 100 years ago. It wasn't taught to me in school. There are many things that we are not taught in school about our culture, about our society, and how things are structured. But the information is available to us to learn, to grow in our understanding and in our capacity for empathy and compassion for other people who don't look like us, who don't enjoy the same level of privilege and power that we enjoy, many of us. So please, I want you to know that I'm speaking to you from my heart, and I have empathy and compassion for all of us. I do. I do my best to have empathy and compassion for myself in this. I enjoy a great deal of privilege in my world. I do. And sometimes it's hard for me to acknowledge that. But who am I? Who am I as the Christ being expressed in this particular body, in this particular incarnation? And how am I to live that through this particular incarnation? That's how I'm approaching that particular question. I guess I should have planned to do a whole talk just on that one question, because that's what's sort of coming up today. But who am I? What do I love? I believe that there are things that touch us. There are things that speak to our spirit, that ignite our souls. For some of us, it's music. For some of us, it's poetry. For some of us, it might be nature. For some of us, it might be looking at a beautiful piece of art. But it speaks to us, and it ignites something within us. What do I love? What do I love? What does my soul love? For me, it's all of those things, really. But nature is something that really, I love being out in nature. And it thrills my soul. It feeds my soul. What do I love? But I think there's a natural thing that speaks to us. There's something that speaks to our souls and ignites something within us, connects us with the divine. But what do I love? What do I choose to love? What do I choose to give my time and my attention and my energy and my devotion to? We all get to choose that. What do I love? If you kind of look at what you're expending your time and attention and energy on, it's probably a good indicator of what you love. So what do you love? What are you choosing to love? And I appreciate what Andrew Harvey has to say in one of his books. I'm pretty sure it was The Hope is the book I read it in. He says, what breaks you open? What, when you see it, when you hear about it, breaks your heart? Breaks your heart open so that you are the presence or willing to give that love from your heart? Does it break your heart when you see children who are starving, when you watch something on television, you see children who are starving? Does it break your heart when you hear stories about children being abused? Does it break your heart when you hear stories or see stories or read stories about black men being murdered? Does it break your heart when you hear about LGBTQ people being attacked? Does it break your heart? What breaks your heart open? And that's what something about that, when we can answer that question, is an indicator of what it is that we really love. And then how will I live? The third question, how will I live knowing that I will die? You know, we do believe that there's an aspect of us, the Christ of us, the truth of us that never dies. It's eternal. We believe that. We teach that here in Unity. But we also know that we live in these human forms, and evidence would tell us that we're probably not going to make it out alive. I mean, these bodies will eventually die. Now, I know there's some belief that we can live in these bodies eternally. Even Charles Fillmore believed that it was possible to live in these bodies eternally. Well, he didn't make it. I don't know of anyone who has, personally. So there is at some point, and we don't know when, but at some point we will lay down these bodies. And what he says in the book is that what's so amazing is that so many of us live in denial of that. We think somehow we're going to be the exception. Somehow we're going to escape it. And so we live as though we have all the time in the world. So if we really knew, he even says in the book to practice, it sounds kind of morbid, but he says, practice saying, I could die today. I could die today. And if you really understood that you could die today, how would you choose to live your life? What would you choose to do? Would you choose to keep complaining and moaning, bitching about how things aren't the way you want them to be? I have people in my family who live their lives that way. Miserable, fearful about how bad things are. Would you choose to live your life that way? If you really knew, what would you choose to do? Knowing who you are, knowing what you love, and knowing that it's possible that you could die today, what are you going to choose to do? How are you going to choose to live your life? And the fourth question, kind of rushing through this today, I'm looking at the clock. Fourth question is, what is my gift to the family of the earth? Now, sometimes when I think about that, I think it has to be huge. I think that I'm supposed to find the cure for cancer, or I'm supposed to find a way to end homelessness. When I think about what is my gift, I think about people who gave something meaningful, something that changed lives, something big. But we all have gifts to share with the world, with the family of the earth. And we can share those gifts every moment. The love that we have, we can share that. We can share it through small acts of kindness. I've heard stories about people in the line at, McDonald's or Starbucks, paying for the person behind them. And it continues. It's just small things that might enrich somebody else's life. What is my gift? So if we ask that question from this now moment, not some big idea, not some future plan, but if you ask that question right now, what can I do right now? What is my gift to the family of the earth right now? And what's coming to me in the moment, the first gift that we can give to the family of the earth, I believe, is honoring and accepting who we are. Growing in who we are as the light of the world. Knowing it, healing what gets in the way of that. It sounds selfish at first, but when you think about that, it can open you up to being more present, to being more loving, to being more available, to give and to share that which you are. Well, what can I give right now? A kind word, a smile. Those things can transform somebody's life in ways that we don't even really understand or we may not ever know. And maybe you do have a big gift that you can give to the family of earth, but don't let that question stifle you from giving what you have to give right now. How can I give to the family of the earth? How can I, in whatever small way, bring forth the kingdom of heaven upon the earth? How can I help facilitate a world that lives in unity and equality and inclusivity and equity and diversity? What can I do? So I just encourage you to be with those questions. I encourage you to read the book if you're so inclined, but to be with those questions. Who am I? Who am I in the spiritual sense? Who am I in this physical body? Why does that matter? Who am I? What do I love? What do I choose to love? And what do I allow to just break my heart open? to be love in the world. Knowing that I'm going to die at some point, how am I choosing to live? Am I choosing to live that love? Or am I choosing to live in the fear? And what can I give? This moment, what is mine to give? To bring forth the beloved community that we all desire to experience. All right, so let's take a moment, take a breath. Once again, breathing into this moment, breathing into your heart. Breathing into the awareness of that divine love that is living in you and through you and as you. Breathing into that divine love that connects us one with each other, that connects us with all creation. And as we center our awareness in that place within our hearts, within divine love, we open ourselves up to those questions, who am I? As we go deeper and deeper and deeper in that question, we open to greater revelation. Who am I? What do I love? What thrills my soul? What do I choose to love? What do I allow to just break me open with love and compassion? How will I live that love, knowing that I'm going to die? How do I choose to live? And what is my gift to this beloved community, to this family of the earth? And just breathe into those questions, listening for that still small voice within that is always speaking of truth, always revealing deeper awareness, deeper truth as we open and listen and allow. In the silence, just open and listen. And as we open, as we listen, as we receive, we allow ourselves to be inspired to remember who we are, to remember why we're here, to know that our actions matter, to know that we matter. And we allow ourselves to receive that, know that, be that in the world. Giving ourselves that permission to be who we are here to be.
Give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to be passionate and free. I give myself permission to be all I can be. I give myself permission to be passionate and free. To be all I can be. To be all I can be.
Let's take a breath together. So now is the time when those of you who are watching online have an opportunity to give, to share. There are many ways for you to do that. You'll see that on your screen. Those of you who are here, there are opportunities to do that as well. If you have the app, you can do it right now, as a matter of fact. And as you leave, there are baskets behind you, so please feel free to leave your offering there. So let's say together our offering blessing. Divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am thankful.
This ain't coming from no prophet, just an ordinary man. But when I close my eyes, I see the way this world shall be when we all walk hand in hand.
Thank you, Lauren. Garth Brooks ain't got nothing on you, honey. Thank you for that. And thank you all for being here today, whether you're here in person or here virtually. So happy that you chose to spend part of your day with us today. So let's close by saying our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. As light, I illumine my world. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. As love, I live empathy, understanding, and compassion. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. As power, I co-create a world of love, unity, and equality for all. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. As presence, I stand in truth in every circumstance. Wherever we are, God is. Amen. And please join Lauren as she's, what are we singing today? Let there be love. Yeah, let there be love on earth.